Hi guys, it's Logan, and today we're going to talk about Ford Ad Pays, and we're going to talk about the calculator. Everybody wants to know how much money can you make. It's interesting because when you tell people, you make 2% a day at Ford Ad Pays, they're like, well, they're not excited because it doesn't sound very exciting, especially if you're in Triple Threat or one of these fast revenue shares and you hear things like 40% a day, right? When you buy those, least expensive $3 ad packs in most of these fast ones, especially Triple Threat and all its failed clones, you would typically get 20% in, well, the fastest 3 days, which is 120%, right? Because 120 sounds bigger than 20. It's really a 20% profit. 120 is the total you get back over 3 days, ideally. So that's where this 40% a day comes in. But it's not always the case. Like right now, I think Triple Threat is maybe paying it, at half that speed, right? But regardless, I'm not saying that's it's still really fast. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. I don't time that anymore. Whatever money I make there, I know that it's coming really, really fast, and I'm happy with that. And I don't really track that. Ford Ad Pays is fairly consistent. I asked an admin, one of the French guys in the group in Facebook. I asked the sponsor of my sponsor, somebody who's been there for 9 months, and basically I asked about, how does it really perform? Is it really, how close is it to 2%? And one answer I got, it was way over 1.5. It was always between 1.5 and 2. And the other answer I got was like, oh, it's like 190 something probably. That would be the realistic answer. From what I've seen, it's performing very, very steadily. And I realized I could plug in my actual numbers in the calculator and see how it compares. If I were doing what I'm actually doing and putting that in the calculator, we'll compare that and we'll see, once I have more data, that's going to make more sense. So far, I was doing better than what calculator told me at its maximum setting. So let's look at this. The calculator is normally set for 2% daily earnings. I lowered it to 1.8 to simulate the realism. I mean, that's a 10% difference. And this site is really not that busy. It's not that heavily hit like Triple Threat. So I would think the site really doesn't suffer. I think it's fairly steady. Sites like Triple Threat, they go through ups and downs. There's all kinds of processor issues and so on. This one is steady. There's really no reason for it to fluctuate that much. So I lowered that number 10%, right? 2% minus its 10% is 0.2. So 1.8 is the daily number that we're going to work with here. And you may have seen this calculator. This is the same calculator that other people use. I didn't make it. I could have made it. Somebody just asked me, did you make it? I'm like, well, yeah, I could have. I mean, it takes time, but I can do this. Anyways, I don't want to take credit for the calculator. And before we continue, let's look at the disclaimer. And obviously, these are just estimates, and they are doable, but they are estimates. Okay. So, assuming you've read the disclaimer, you have plenty of time to do that. And so, what I did is I added the day on this side, so I can, it's way far on the left. I don't have a reference, a day, a date, and a month. This way, I can do some, like for different people who ask me different questions, I could maybe set up a daily monthly withdrawals on the 1st, or I could go by a week, and so on. So I punched in the 1st of February in 2016, which is soon, 10 days or so. And I changed these colors a little bit, removed something, whatever. And I have a total running at the bottom also. Where is it? Oops. Okay, total, we're going to see total withdrawal and total deposit, okay? So we have $100. We can buy $100 worth of ad packs because they only cost $1. That means on the first day after that first purchase, we have 100 active ad packs. Nothing's been deactivated yet because at 2%, at 220% maturity, that means that they will last about 110 days. So 0 deactivated packs for 4 months. Daily earnings, assuming 1.8. So these are the daily earnings at for $100 you get $1.80. Half of that goes to cash, half of that goes to repurchase. And if you don't type in any values in this in the withdrawal, it's going to assume that you have repurchased with all your money, right? So with your cash balance and your repurchase balance. So potential daily cash withdrawal, that's really, it's just a copy of the cash balance column, but it's here. So I set that in yellow because we really need to look at that column when we start adding cash withdrawals. Now these are daily, you can spread them out and put them wherever you want. So, the great thing about this calculator, you can really make it for you. I had a guy who was, he wants to put in $2,000. So, his numbers are very different. So he will put $2,000 to begin with, right? For the rest of us, we'll usually start with 100, 200, 300, and maybe we'll add along the way, right? Maybe we know we'll add it on every first of the month. Here's 1st of March. Every time you get paid, maybe you're going to put in $100, which is a great way to improve your numbers. And I'll show you what happens exactly. So let's assume that we're not going to take any money out. Let's just see how the $100 deposit performs over this year. This calculator is only a year long, which is plenty. So $100, I've already explained these columns. So as you scroll down, I'm just gonna, I don't want to make you woozy here, but I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom, and these are total number that you could have withdrawn at the end of the, these are daily numbers, right? So 492 is a potential number that you can withdraw every one of these days. On this day you can withdraw 492, on this day you can withdraw 483, and so on. The later numbers change as you punch in a number before, right? So if I put in $1,000, see, the numbers drop here a little bit, right? If you do another $1,000, there's less money, right? If you do another 1,000, less money. If you do $5,000, it's not possible to take 5,000 in a day, but just so you get the picture, right? So these numbers get smaller and smaller, but this is still doable, right? Apart from the fact that you can't take $5,000 in one day. So these are daily numbers. But if you look at this white column, you see this accumulated, right? So growing daily share earnings. So $100, if you repurchase 100% with the cash and repurchase balance, will become $56,000 at the end of the year, if this site is running at 1.8% paying average, right? $56,000. There's $55,000 worth of ad packs here. You have your position is about almost 55,000 ad packs at that moment at the end of the year. Just so you get an idea, I'll put in 2% here. Let's look at this number now. This is now $113,000. These numbers are crazy, right? This is, this is the power of compounding. So, it seems like a very small difference in the beginning, because we had 190 or 180, and now we have $2 on the first day. But by the time you get here, because every day you have more money to repurchase, numbers get ridiculous, right? I actually had a friend who ran a different customized projection, and I will make a video with that, and he has a nice graph that goes with it also. And our number was a little lower, but regardless, this is like these numbers are mind-blowing. Like if you had half of this, right? And you had half of this, right? So let's go back to our realistic number, right? 1.8. So you get to the end of the year with 56 potential withdrawals, right? 56,000 worth of value in your shares. You haven't withdrawn anything, right? And let's not focus on withdrawals yet. Let's add $100 on the following month. Let's add $100 on the 1st of April. $100 here. This is the beginning of month 4. $100 here, beginning of month 5. And let's do one more in the 6th month, right? So you just added, you had a first deposit and 5 more deposits after that. So a total of 6 months, you put in $100. Now you look at this last number. This number is now at 138,000. You know, like speechless, right? This is weird. This sounds like there's something wrong. Exactly, I know. But this is what the power of compounding is. So, you know, in the first month you have 100 packs. The second month, 167 packs, right? Because that's what you earned. You earned, see, $67 and you redeposited back. In the second month, your earnings are 269, so you're already up to 460 shares, right? 461 shares. The next month it's not double, it's more than that, and so on. So the move, as you'll see when I do the other video, the move is not just like this. It takes for it to start going like crazy up, and then it just shoots, you know, through to the moon, right? So this is the power of adding 100 without any withdrawals for 6 months and just repurchasing. You end up with $138,000. This is mind-blowing, I think. Now, let's say let's undo, and let's say you put $600 to begin with. You don't put it over 6 months. Now your starting point is much higher, right? So now this number at the end is 340,000. Right? So just think of the relationship between these two numbers. 600 spread over 6 months, you end up with about $130,000 of accumulated share earnings. 600 at once to begin with. Not that I'm telling you to do that. Only what's comfortable for you, right? But that number is now, I don't know if that's 2.5 times as much, right? So I know. I mean, it's kind of hard to. The numbers are so big for most of us that we can't comprehend, right? When I tell people you can withdraw $3,200 a day, they're like, "What do you mean?" Right? How can you imagine yourself going to an ATM and pulling out $3,200 Monday through Friday? That's what you can do here. You can actually, to be precise, it's 4 times a day. $800, which is $3,800. So that's a lot of money. Can you imagine yourself doing that? Like Monday through Friday, you go to your ATM 20 times and you take $800 every day. I can't imagine. That's like way more than I've ever made. I can't imagine that, right? But you'll have to. If you're going to make money with, if you're going to get into this, you're going to need to dream a little bigger, right? Of course, there's some, percentage fees and whatever, but, you'll pay some taxes, however that works for you. But these are the numbers. So with $100, let's say you put $100 in and you leave it alone for 6 months, right? Actually, I have another sheet. Let's do this. In this sheet, what I did, I took that $100, deposited it 6 times, the same way we did before, right? So no hurrying, no big money, risked at once. So you just put $600 in over 6 months. And at the beginning of month 7, you're no longer depositing. You start withdrawing. So we withdraw on the 1st of August. Say you get started on the 1st of February. So 6 months later, you take your first withdrawal, $100, right? You're not taking out too much. Next week, you take out $100. These are tiny deposits. So basically in August you get $400, $500, is it? This is all July, sorry. No, 7th month, but it's August. So you have $500, and then once you get to the 8th month, you increase that to 250. So now you already have your initial deposit, and you're taking out 250 a month. I'm sorry, 250 a week in the second month, right? So first month, $100 a week. Sorry, let's start again. 6 months, all deposits. You don't touch the money, you just repurchase everything. In the 7th month, so the following 6 months, first 6 months are deposit, repurchase. Second 6 months, you're taking money out. In the first month, pretty much, you've taken all of your money back, your deposit. So $100 a week. Second month, $250 per week. Third month, which is 9th month, $500 a week. Then you take $750 a week. Then you take $1,000 a week. And then you jump to $1,500 a week. And there is still plenty of money to be taken out. You could be taking out more, right? And here you've taken out $18,750. Your deposit was $600. So your gains for the first year are your actual profit is $18,000 with these fairly conservative withdrawals. You could be taking out more money. But I figured the more money you leave sooner, right? The longer that money has to work, the more money, the steeper that curve is going to be, and the more money you're going to be able to take out next year, right? So, as you're increasing, like after this, in the 13th month, you could start taking out $1,000 twice a week, right? Or you can take out 1,500 twice a week. Basically what you would need to do as far as the calculator goes. Now, if you friend me on Facebook or send me an email or whatever, I can send you this my adaptation of this calculator. And what you will be able to do, you will be able to punch in your own numbers. You can dream in any way you want to dream. What you need to look out for, you have to look at this yellow column, because this is potential daily cash withdrawal. And if you make these numbers too big, let's go back to, I don't know, I wasn't ready really to simulate this properly, but let's try. 2,000 here. Let's go big. 3,000. 5,000. Of course, again, it's not possible to take out 5,000 in a day, but just to make this, you see how the numbers go down right after this withdrawal. They drop, but then they start picking up again, right? And after this withdrawal, they drop again, but then they recover, right? But the more you do this, the more you may get to the point where these numbers start going negative. Let's go even earlier. Let's do all 5,000 here, and we should be able to simulate a failure in numbers. See numbers going down to double digits, right? You can be withdrawing this much, but the numbers are dwindling, right? They're getting lower. You see, they go lower and then they start recovering, right? So they do recover, but very slowly. I mean, this is $40 a day, and you're taking out 5,000. This is not sustainable, right? Let's do it even sooner. Let's do it here. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. So we'll put $5,000 in already in the end of month number 9. So you see, when you start taking out too much money, these numbers will not only dwindle, but you'll actually hit the wall. These parentheses mean these are negative numbers, right? This is how Excel, this sheet is set up to show. So these numbers are negative, which means this is not possible. You'll be hitting the limit. You'll be hitting 0. So anyways, what I'm saying is that when you start playing with your own numbers, you need to watch out what happens here in this yellow column. If you got this calculator from me, it's going to be yellow, this column right next to your withdrawals. Again, This is a calculator, this is a simulation, these are projections. Reality might be different, but like I said in the beginning, the actual numbers are very, very close. It seems like, based on recent past, that they're not likely to vary by that much. And again, if they do, these are big earnings. You'll just have to adjust. You will see your number of shares. You'll see how much money you have in the account. You'll be able to figure out how much money you can take out. In fact, you can probably use this spreadsheet to track your numbers and actually put your deposits and values. I tried doing that for me. I found it a little clumsy, but I will do it just to compare and see how the calculator performs compared to my actual results. So this is just from shares, right? Like I haven't put much. I think I put $100 in, and I think I already have $100 in referrals, and I'm not even trying that hard, right? I have 5 direct referrals on the first level, but I get money from people that I don't even know who they are. Level 2, level 3, and so on. I got $12 from somebody in level 2 today. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not even sure whose referral he is. But 4% for me was his $12. So I guess 25 times that. So he put in whatever, close to $300, right? 260 or something. So okay, so this has been my playing with the calculator for Ford Ad Pays. I hope you enjoyed this. I will talk about it more. I will talk about the other great features of this website. I'm really, really liking this. Not, people ask about my paying ads, and I was promoting that, and I was getting signups, but then the PayPal thing happened, and they're still in limbo, and I think they're going to be okay, but things are not going to be exactly the same. And regardless of that, I found this actually before it happened, and here we are. I'm really liking everything about Ford Ad Pays, and I think you will too. You can contact me on Facebook. You can send me an email. You can comment on the video. Probably best you find me on Facebook. The link is right there. If you want to sign up, you can sign up. There's no membership fee. You don't even have to you don't even have to deposit any money, because you could just run referrals. All your referral money goes to cash. So you could just take cash out. I'd get nothing from you, right? If you just get referrals and you take your cash from those referrals, you could do that. Few people are that good at getting referrals, so probably you'd want to be buying shares because you saw what's possible, and it's just amazing. Okay, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.